What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steve Nosantoski here of Mason Brew, bringing you another episode of Freshman Feature. Finally, we're back with episode 2. I did episode 1 a long time ago, back in like February something, on J.J. McCarthy, number 1 recruit overall for Michigan's class of 2021 coming into this season. You guys voted for Donovan Edwards here for Freshman Feature episode 2, so here we are. A lot of these episodes to come in the offseason. I just did a content plan for the offseason. Check that out. That'll be in the description below if you're looking for the frequency, but every Monday and Wednesday moving forward here, you'll have a new episode and an announcement about what I'm going to be doing tonight as a part of this feature as well. So if you missed episode 1, go back and check that out. If you don't know what we're doing here, we're doing film, we're doing projection, we're doing stats, everything you need to know about the incoming freshman class before the season starts heading into this season. So there's going to be polls on Twitter at Stephen Toski there. On the community tab, there's going to be polls for episodes that you want to see moving forward. Who do you want me to cover next? So I'll have those as well. Let's dive into it. I'm going to have the film running in the background here. I'll talk to a lot of the things that are relevant with Donovan Edwards as a part of this. So here we go. High school. West Bloomfield High School out of Michigan. All right. Just about 15 minutes away from me, believe it or not. So one of the best programs in the state of Michigan, 2020 state champs, finally getting past Belleville, a team in their own region. So 2019 and 2018, West Bloomfield was district champs, but they were knocked out by Belleville in the regional finals. Finally, they were able to get past that in 2020 behind, you guessed it, Donovan Edwards as running back. He was utilized elsewhere, though, on the offense beyond just running back, wide receiver, wildcat quarterback. He was used in motion a ton, offensive weapon to a T there. Same high school as 2020 recruits Makari Page and Cornell Wheeler. Ron Bellamy, former Michigan wide receiver. Now he's on the staff for Michigan. He was the head coach of West Bloomfield during the duration that Donovan Edwards was there. So looking at his stats while at West Bloomfield, senior year, 1,021 rushing yards, 17 rush TDs, 153 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Junior year, his best year of production, over 1,400 rushing yards, over 500 receiving yards, 25 total touchdowns. Couldn't find his sophomore and freshman stats, but those junior year stats especially are pretty solid at the highest division within Michigan. Looking at his metrics, I couldn't find a 40 time or a shuttle time. He's said to be in the 4.4 to 4.5 range. I'd probably lean towards the 4.5 range with his 40, but again, that's just conjecture. His vertical is 33.10. That's back from 2019. Who's to say where that would be now? Probably a couple inches above that, but again, that's just projection there. Height is 5'11", maybe a half an inch shorter than that. He had an official height at like 5'10" and a half or something. But again, that's an old one, so he could be closer to 5'11" and weight around 190. Looking at his rankings here, all right, so Rivals, ESPN have him as a 4-star, 58 national to Rivals, number 3 running back and 2 in Michigan. ESPN a little bit less bullish at 68 nationally, number 4 running back and number 4 in the state of Michigan, 24/7. They gave him a 5th star really late in the cycle, number 32 nationally, number 2 running back overall, and top recruit in the state of Michigan. That brings his composite just outside of 5-star range at 41st nationally, number 3 running back, and number 2 Michigan. So pretty tight group, right around between 30 and 70, depending on who you ask. Really strong ratings overall, top 5 consensus running back, no matter who you ask. Offers. So this is one of the most impressive offer lists that you could come up with. Bama, Arizona State, Auburn, Baylor, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, USC, and just about every team in the Big Ten as well. OSU, Penn State, Wisconsin, everyone else essentially. I could spend 5 minutes going through all of his offers. Anyone in the Big Ten, Big 12, SEC, and some Pac-12 offers as well. They all wanted this guy, right? So if you're questioning his rating for whatever reason, his offer list speaks for itself. Okay, looking at his recruitment. First play of Michigan's 2020 season, all right, was one where Blake Corum got the ball. This was thought to be a recruiting pitch to Donovan Edwards, right? A guy with all those offers needs some way to stand out, some way to keep him in state. And a lot of people projected that was a play specifically designed to say, hey, Donovan Edwards, you're going to get early playing time here. So Notre Dame had an early moment with him. They were thought to be the leaders at one point. Later on in this cycle, Michigan continued to be the name that was mentioned most, right? It's Michigan. Oklahoma and Georgia were the main programs pushing hard towards the end, especially Oklahoma. There's a strong relationship between DeMarco Murray, the running back coach. I feel like 1,000 years old saying that. He was looking to get an official to Oklahoma. One of the recruitments here that likely really benefited from the lack of capable visits because of COVID-19. So since that visit never actually materialized, the hometown team probably had a bit of an advantage, and hey, you'll take that. If you're Michigan, keep a guy like that in-state, huge win for Michigan, obviously. So looking at scouting, Alan True of 24/7, college ready since sophomore year. So this is a guy who matured early, was at playing weight, had the skills pretty early on in his high school career. Very complete back. You see this mentioning a lot between the tackles and a home run threat. So not only can he go between the hashes, he can bounce it outside and use his speed to score the home run. Runs with violence when he has to. Excellent lateral agility, burst and acceleration, one cut and go guy, and a great pass catcher. So for some improvements, again, he's not a guy who's going to break people's ankles every time. He is more of just a one cut and go, which is totally fine. I don't even think that's an improvement, just a style of running back he is. Improvements, though. Pass blocking technique could improve. Didn't see a whole lot on his film in that regard. And then good but not great top-end speed. And this is something where he's likely to run in the 4.5s, right? He's not a 4.3, 4.4 guy like that. But again, he's just not that type of running back. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, just not something that he's excellent at. For myself, so most of that was from Alan True. For myself, though, I love to see a guy do work between the hash marks, right? This is, how do you deal with contact? How do you deal with multiple guys trying to take you down? What's your vision like? What's your patience like? If a guy's consistently bouncing outside the hashes using just his speed, a lot of that won't translate directly to the college game. Running between the hashes, that's your bread and butter. That's what you're expected to do, and he has a lot of that on film, and he looked very productive doing that. Similar to Blake Corum. Remember his film last year? There's an episode I did on him. I loved his film mainly for that as well. He was very productive with his acceleration, with his elusiveness through the middle of that offensive line, and that vision, that patience. It's all there, and Edwards has a lot of that as well. Very comfortable in the wide receiver scenario, right? This is a guy, to me, I would scheme specifically to have him line up against a linebacker in coverage because that's just a huge mismatch. Overall, it's just hard to find anything he's bad at, right? Maybe he's not the fastest guy, not the most elusive, but everything you need a running back to be, right? If you're creating a player on NCAA football, he's like an 8 out of 10 or like, maybe a 90 out of 100 or something. Just something that he's someone that's really good at just about everything you need him to be. Maybe not elite at all of those things, but he has the making of a guy who's right there and a very high floor as a prospect overall. Okay, so for film, I mentioned an announcement. So each episode of Freshman Feature here, I'm not going to be going directly into the film. I'll be showing it in the background like I am right now, but I will be going live. So tonight, I'm live streaming his highlights. All right, this video will be 20 minutes long if I went through all the highlights I want to. So I'll have the film live on the live stream tonight, Wednesday the 13th at 8:30 p.m. So join me, 30 minutes or so. We'll be going through any film out there for Donovan Edwards, really breaking that down and going through all the film that's out there. Okay, so for his comp, 24/7 gives the comp of Alvin Kamara. All right, obviously this would be amazing. Like he's one of the best running backs that the NFL has seen in the past few years. But it's a pretty good comparison when you look at a lot of different factors. Similar size, 5'10" for Kamara compared to 5'11" for Donovan Edwards. Was a high 4-star, number 42 overall. That's almost exactly where's the composite for Edwards. I just said it. It's 41, right? So you're right there. Extremely good receiving running back, Kamara was. Not the fastest, right? In the 4.5s. 4.53 was the official time for Alvin Kamara at the Combine. And he just does everything well, right? He's more of a one-cut back. I think Kamara might have a little bit more wiggle to him than Edwards does at this point. But, he just does everything well. He's a very complete back, and Edwards has a lot of those similar traits. So remember, this comparison is strictly based on skill set, profile, height, weight, everything going into that. So it's by no means am I declaring Edwards the next Alvin Kamara, but their profiles line up extremely well out of high school and what we can expect for the type of deployment of Donovan Edwards. Okay. So finally for projection. So he's an early enrollee. Coach Josh Ross raved about his speed already. Said he's a very speedy back, which is obviously good for an area that maybe is a little bit questioned, not elite for him. So to have a coach say that already is a very good sign on how he stacks up in the running back room overall. He's going to see significant time this year, right? You have Hassan Haskins, you have Blake Corum. Those are your clear 1-2, but Edwards' receiving skills makes him a very versatile guy in most sets that you can get him in there and utilize him in a lot of different ways. And you can get him on the field with Haskins, with Corum, without tipping the hand of the offense because of that versatility that Edwards brings to the offense. I would expect 3 to 5 touches per game, split duties with Corum in the future beyond this year, first or second back for a couple of years before he's headed off, hopefully to the NFL and hopefully healthy. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. When do you think that Edwards will really see playing time? How many carries per game this year? And yeah, let me know. Check out the community tab to vote for who I will be covering on next week's episodes, Monday and Wednesday. Also have a poll on Twitter, so check that out as well. Live stream tonight, 30 minutes or so. Film analysis, 8:30 p.m. Today's Wednesday. All right. So finally, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave any comments on any other aspects of these recruits you want to see that I'm not already covering. But anyways, beyond that, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Stay safe out there. As always, go blue.